As we look at the book of Genesis today, I want to take a look at the start of chapter 44. And Joseph is continuing to have these interactions with his brothers. I just want to look at the first 5 verses today. It says in verse 1, when his brothers were ready to leave, Joseph gave these instructions to his palace manager. Fill each of their sacks with as much grain as they can carry, and put each man's money back into his sack. Then put my personal silver cup at the top of the youngest brother's sack, along with the money for his grain. So the manager did as Joseph instructed him. The brothers were up at dawn and were sent on their journey with their loaded donkeys. But when they had gone only a short distance and were barely out of the city, Joseph said to his palace manager, chase after them and stop them. When you catch them, ask them, why have you repaid my kindness with such evil? Why have you stolen my master's silver cup, which he uses to predict the future? What a wicked thing you have done. Okay, so the brothers are going to leave in high spirits here. They think everything's good. We got the food. We can go back home. We even got a great meal out of this. We were sitting around hanging out with the second most powerful man in Egypt. What a good day for us. But the silver cup. This is the same kind of thing that had happened before. With the money going back in. Same thing, except this time they include this silver cup. He chases after them, or has his servants chase after them. Now, Joseph was not here simply using his position to torment his brothers. That is not what he was doing. He was, I believe, guided by the hand of God here. And I think once again, this is God testing these brothers. Remember what God is doing. From the start of this famine, when they first had to go to Egypt and encounter Joseph, God is moving them to a place of brokenness and repentance. And that doesn't always happen in one fell swoop. It tends to happen over the course of time. For a lot of people, we can't just one day, or we don't just one day, get up and move past a sin in our lives, or a kind of a sin pattern. These brothers had definitely had some sin pattern issues in their life as you go back and read through the earlier sections of the book of Genesis, when it talks about, Jacob and his sons, which even goes back to Jacob and the things that Jacob had done in his young life and the problems that had been caused there. These boys had, to be honest, some not so great role models in some moments when it came to Jacob. So God is breaking them down piece by piece to bring them to repentance, and that's the same thing God has to do for us sometimes. Now, the cup is interesting too. Talking about this cup which Joseph used to, predict the future, almost like a fortune teller. Now, I don't believe Joseph really used this cup for this. I don't think that's the case at all. I think Joseph here is, as being guided by God, he's still playing in to this idea of being Egyptian. This is something the Egyptians would have done. This is something that these brothers would have seen others in this area up from where they're at in the land of Canaan. They would have seen this type of thing. This also throws them off the scent that Joseph himself could be their brother. It explains to them a little bit how he possibly could have had ordered them and known all the things that he has known. So it's used a little bit by Joseph as a way to throw them off the scent still, because God's purpose is still to bring them to repentance and reunite this family. But these brothers have to be broken over their sin before that can ever happen. And this is another step down that road. And we'll take another step tomorrow.